Hello, my name is Paul Ketke. I am a former Smartsheet employee and a platinum partner here with almost a decade of Smartsheet implementation experience delivering solutions like this for Smartsheet's top customers. What we're going to go through today is going to be a walkthrough of a typical property transition solution. This solution has been very popular among customers who are building out their companies through the acquisition of physical properties. So think the addition of adding in warehouses or distribution centers, taking over leases for commercial real estate, storefronts, restaurants, data centers, you name it. Any organization that is growing through the acquisition or building of physical property, this solution is shown to be very powerful, allowing them to get properties up and running and generating revenue faster through more efficient communication and collaboration across their teams. Today, we're going to be walking through the solution end to end. We're going to start at the top level here, looking at this from a management perspective and how we can see the entire set of portfolios and properties within an organization, jumping through these layers, then zooming back out to look at it from a leadership perspective, as well as the individual project managers who are managing these processes. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Moving into Smartsheet, we're going to start at the management dashboard. So if you are responsible for transitioning properties into your organization, this is likely going to be the view for you. So top level here, this dashboard is going to give you a quick overview of how many active portfolios and properties are you intaking at any given time. And to set definitions of terms here, most organizations use a term portfolio to be one or multiple properties that you could be acquiring. If you're acquiring another organization that has multiple different properties, the organization will be the portfolio and then all the properties within it. So what we have at the top here is we've got a quick property pipeline so that you can see when these properties are scheduled to go live. So as they're going through that transitioning process, as you're building everything out to get the branding, to get all IT infrastructure set up, when do we have these go live dates coming up? How can we predict for these? Everything in here is click through and customizable. So this property pipeline, if I want to say, hey, which 8 properties do we have going live in the next 10 days, we can click on this property pipeline widget and it's going to bring us in here. We can say, hey, we have a number of properties in the Phoenix portfolio as well as the Philadelphia portfolios going live here. Here are those properties. Here's all the information about them. As you're looking at these dashboards, this is an example of a dashboard that's been very successful for a lot of different clients. However, everything in here is fully customizable. So we can take these widgets, we can move them around, we can add, delete widgets, we can build in all sorts of custom widgets here as well. So again, this is just one example of a solution that has been very successful previously. Your solution could be entirely customized to what you want to see and leverage all the best pieces of what might already be here as well too. Going through here, we can break this down by the different types of acquisitions that we're doing, whether third-party management, new builds, or pure acquisitions here. If we want to see it by division or by region, we can do that. I've got a little widget in here for projects by PM. A lot of information here. This is designed to be your one-stop shop to say, hey, on any given day, where are we at across the entire onboarding and transitioning process? What needs to happen? Where are things going? How is everything being broken down here to make sure that we can continue to run this as effectively as possible and decrease that time to value? As we scroll down the dashboard here, I've got a list of all the active properties. We'll jump into this in a second. But as these are coming through here, what we can also do is we can track our completed metrics. So we can see over time, how are we tracking? Are we getting everything done on time? If not, let's highlight that so that we can address those and plan to improve in the future. So this is just a quick view of the management dashboard and what a management dashboard could look like. Looking through our active properties here, let's say we're looking at Pacific Heights in San Francisco. We've got a new property opening up there, and I can see, hey, we've got an issue with health here. We've got a yellow health status. High level here, the executive update says we're still waiting on some connections from the local utilities department. I'm going to zoom into the portfolio level here first, and then we'll jump down to the property level dashboard in just a second. Clicking on the portfolio level here, this brings us to the San Francisco portfolio dashboard. Again, in this example, this could be another company that you've acquired or just a specific portfolio of properties that are coming in here, or maybe just one property by itself. In our case here, the San Francisco portfolio has three different properties as part of the portfolio. We can see it's in the West Division. We can see our timeline. We're 71% done with the pre-turnover work. Our go live date is coming up here soon. And one of our properties has a yellow health status. The rest are all green. So that's good. Let's keep diving into this one. Actually, before we do here, down at the bottom, we just have an upcoming task so that from one central place, you can see, hey, what do we need to do across this entire portfolio? Rather than having to click into property dashboard after property dashboard, we can just say, hey, we're going to talk about San Francisco right now. Here's everything that we need to be able to see. Now, our next level here, we're going to jump in to Pacific Heights and say, hey, you know what? I really want to look at Pacific Heights here, see why the health is yellow. We're going to click here, zoom in one more level, and this is going to be showing us just the individual property. We can see the address in here, the current management company for that property, when this site was built, the type of project that this is here. This is an acquisition in this case. We can see who the project team is for this specific property. And we have our executive update. Again, everything here is click through. So this executive update, if we want to change this and say, hey, we now have everything that we need, I can go ahead and click on the executive update, come in here and say, yep, we are all good. And change our health back to green. What's going to happen here is this is going to update back here into the dashboard. The executive updates changed, the health has changed. All this is going to roll back up to our other levels as well too. But through here, I can keep track of how we're doing across this property. Across all of our different departments that are involved in this transition process, how are we doing in each one of these? In acquisitions here, I can see the dark blue is the number of tasks that have been completed. So acquisitions doing pretty well. We still have 3 in progress and 4 that haven't been started. Looks like HR here is maybe a little bit behind, or their processes start a little bit later. Operations is complete with all of their tasks. They are good to go. But this is going to give us that visibility and breakdown of who needs to do what and make sure that we can provide that support to the individual teams that are involved in this process. We've also got some quick views here into the upcoming tasks. We can also click into this and expand out and see the entire project plan. So really getting down into the nitty-gritty, who's doing what, when are we doing it by, all the different teams that are involved during our pre-turnover phase, rolling down to our turnover date, and then anything that we need to track in the post-turnover part as well too. Again, this project plan or this property checklist is entirely customizable. So we will match this to your process to make sure we get every single item in there. We cross our T's, we dot our I's. Rolling this back up again, because we want to be able to show this to everyone else who's involved in the process. Again, the point here is to get the right information to the right people at the right time. We just looked at this from a management perspective. We're also going to want to roll this out to leadership. And leadership might have a little bit of a different need for what they want to see. Up at the top of all these dashboards, you may have noticed a little navigation box up here. This is a dynamic navigation box that can take you to other places in the solution. So I can say, hey, let's go to the leadership dashboard over here. And on this leadership dashboard, we're showing a little more of a high-level vision, less focused on execution, but more of that big picture. Where are we at across our entire transitions process? How many properties do we have coming live? When are they coming live? Again, the similar pipeline view, and be able to see some other information Go lives by state was an important metric for some leadership teams to be able to see where is this breaking out. Hey, we've got a bunch coming up in Florida right now, and we're going to have a big spike there, a little bit less in other areas. Looks like Indiana and Kentucky as well too. And then be able to see some historical action. Again, this is more of a lighter touch, more to pull up at a monthly leadership meeting or quarterly leadership meeting and just say, hey, here's the status of the transitions. And if anyone wants to see this in the meantime between those, this is a live link, so they can jump right into Smartsheet and see this real time. No emails, no information requests, no putting together extra decks to send to leadership because someone missed the meeting 2 weeks ago and wants an update. Everything is here live and accessible to the entire team. From here, we can also jump over to the project manager view. So I'm just going to jump over here on the side here and go to a PM dashboard. Now, the PMs are going to have a whole bunch of portfolios and properties that they're responsible for. When we're going through the management view, we're seeing an aggregation of all the different PMs work all in one central place, which is really helpful for management. But the PMs who are really going to be in here and doing the bulk of this work on the daily basis, we want to make sure that they have an easy, accessible way to find the information that they need right at the tips of their fingers. So this is a PM dashboard. This was one that I put together for myself here, where I would be able to come in here and say, hey, how many different properties, how many different portfolios am I responsible for? I have pulled in the same property pipeline widget here to be able to see, hey, I've got 4 properties coming up in 20 days, 3 going live right now. I can see my on-time late ratio here. I've got a list of my properties, any overdue tasks as well too to make sure I get a direct priority on these, as well as some heads up coming up in the future here so I can see what's coming up when and start to plan for that and make sure that I'm able to address those hopefully more on time than these overdue tasks here. But the point being, this has aggregated all this information for a specific view for the PMs. Now we've seen the management view, we've seen a leadership view in here, and we've seen the PM view. Again, these are 3 different examples of common stakeholder groups involved in this process. However, if you have additional stakeholder groups or different stakeholder groups that you want to customize for, everything in here is completely customizable. We can build out exactly the widgets that you need to be able to see and that your team needs to be able to see to execute on these property transitions efficiently. With that, I hope you've enjoyed this quick walkthrough. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can learn more information at ketkeconsulting.com and feel free to set up a meeting directly or reach out to your account rep at Smartsheet.